prenuptial agreement is an agreement that you enter into prior to your marriage to determine how assets and liabilities will be split in the event of a divorce, whether there will be alimony awarded, and all sorts of financial issues that are pertinent to you and your family. We will figure that out at the outset in the event of a divorce. We can also put in some life planning things like what might happen in the event somebody predeceases someone. It is highly beneficial, and I definitely recommend a prenup. There are so many gray areas in the law when you get divorced. If you can figure those things out at the outset, you're going to be much better off in the event that you do go through a dissolution. Now remember, you're not planning for what you have. You're planning for what you might have. Prenuptial agreements are a great way for family planning. For instance, if somebody's family is going to leave a lot of money to a particular person and they don't want that in the hands of a divorced spouse or perhaps older children from a previous marriage. So I do a lot of prenuptial agreements for families who will be inheriting some money, and it's a great tool to be sure that the money stays where you want it to stay. So you've gotten engaged and you're excited, but you want to discuss a prenuptial agreement with your soon-to-be spouse. I know there's nothing romantic about a prenuptial agreement. I think the best advice I've heard and the recommendation that I give to my clients is for you to tell your spouse, listen, I cannot wait to marry you. I am so excited to be engaged. Wait a few days after the engagement and the excitement, but at some point, not too far in the distant future and not the night before the wedding, let your spouse know that a prenup is something your family requires and that your family has instilled in you and told you that that's something that you're going to do and that you want to think of it as a nice life planning process for the two of you, where we can talk about things like retirement and savings. And, even though you can't put it into the prenup, do we want kids and do we want them to go to private school? And all of these situations and circumstances, you can talk about them now at the outset and think of it as a life planning tool. But I think it really helps to say, hey, this is something my family has required and this is what we're going to do. Prenup agreements, when done right, can set couples up for success. When you approach it as a life planning tool, is something that you all sit down and discuss together and put some vested interest into and some time and really talk about things that you may not have thought about. Oftentimes I see people getting divorced because they're retiring and one spouse thinks, oh, we're going to travel the world. And the other one says, hey, I'm tired. I've been working for 40 years. I just want to, hang out. So if you can talk about those things early on and know what your expectations are, they will really set you up for success. And then you can just put the prenup in a drawer and never look at it again. If you have any questions about prenups, please contact Johnson Ritchie Family.